Got it. We're live. I mean, that thing was lightning fast. Holy goodness. Did you feel how fast that was? Oh, my goodness. All right, y'all. So if you haven't met me yet before, my name is Dustin. I've been with Pruvit from really pretty much day one of the launch of ketones. The formulation of Pruvit happened a little bit before I was introduced, but the launch of ketones I've been a big part of since the very beginning. And when I got started in this, I was very excited about what this could do to change my family's life. And righty, all right, mute that thing. We're good. Okay, what this could do to change my family's life, and more importantly, what this could do to change my health and other people's health. And so I'm going to just talk for 2 seconds. I'm going to show a really quick video and kick it over to my two amazing co-hosts today. What I didn't realize when I got started is how big ketones were really going to become. I had an idea that they could change a lot of lives, but I didn't realize the significance. And over the last 8 years, I would say I've somewhat taken it for granted. You hear these stories, Miguel, I look at Miguel's before and after picture, or before and better picture. And I mean, it looks like a whole different person. I call him the old man, started ketones and became the young man. And that's in 4 months, but he's also committed to this journey. The other thing I didn't realize is that going and spending time with like-minded people was really important in my life. I didn't realize how much that was a void for me. And because you get stuck in your world, you get stuck in your life. You go to school, like Joseph McClendon says, you get in your box, you live in a box, you sleep in a box, you get in a box, you drive to a box, and that's our life in some way. And if we don't shake it up and surround ourselves with the right people, we wake up in, 20 years or 5 years or 3 years from now going, this isn't what I signed up for. And then everything else in your life seems to be falling apart. So I realized how important it was to spend time with the right people. So Brian and I had a call yesterday, and you guys probably may or may not know this, but Pruvit's been running a lot of studies. I can't tell you the outcomes of these studies by no means yet, or if we really want to. But the studies that are coming back, studies take time, are mind-blowing. He's like, Dustin, because we don't even really realize how important ketones are to the human body. People still think it's a fat loss thing or a weight loss thing, but this is huge. This is big. This is changing generations. This is changing the health of our country. Like, this is so much bigger than we're allowing it to be, because we're kind of getting comfortable with what we're doing. He goes, we got to really get this message out. He goes, at the same time, he goes, Pruvit, we have an opportunity here. The world is so shaken up economically. He goes, we have an opportunity to lead the world out. We can lead our people. Not everybody wants to. He goes, the one thing I know for sure, he goes, everybody has a big heart. He goes, I know everybody has a big heart. Cameron has a huge heart. Kate has a huge heart. Miguel has a huge heart. He goes, we need people with big hearts. He goes, but we also need people that are determined to go make the big difference. The ones that are maybe to go a little further and beyond, right? If you look at history, the people that made the biggest movement were willing to put themselves out there a little bit more. Maybe say things that might offend somebody, but say it anyway because it's potentially the right way to go. So he just said, listen, let's see who's ready to raise their hand and be challenged more, but also wants to lead more. And when I say that, you don't always know what that means, right? Like, I didn't know what it meant to lead more when I got started. I just knew that I wanted to change my life and I was willing to do what it took. And I'm in the same place today. I want to change my life even further. And I know I want to do what it takes, but I don't even know what I'm going to have to do. Does that make any sense? So if you're on here right now and you're not quite sure what you're going to need to do, that's okay. You don't need to. What you need to do is get around the right people. So I told him we're having an event in Nashville. He's like, crush it. He goes, he's going to try to see what he can do to make it over. We have a follow-up event right after that. We have more around the corner. And he goes, I want to see hungry people. So the state of play today is going to be about the vision of what we're going to do. He goes, ketones have already transcended the world. Pruvit has already shaken up the industry of network marketing, y'all. The network marketing industry is changing because Pruvit is done, but we need to keep changing it. We need to get that message out to more people. We need people to think about not necessarily promoting it, not necessarily the business, that they can be part of something bigger to change the health of our country, to change the health of their family, the next generation. That's what we want people to see, that Pruvit is an opportunity. And you get financially rewarded at whatever level you want to get to. You can do that here. Anywhere in the world, Norma, anywhere in the world. You should see the conversation I got with Norma going. And I mean, it's so much bigger. And so with that said and done, we do have an event coming to Nashville. I will tell you right now, in the chat, if you don't mind, if you've been to an event, a proven event, how important was that event to you in your life, your family, or your future? And as you're writing that in there, I'm going to play a little video, and this video, I'm going to kick it right over to Cameron when we're done. So, or Kate. Okay. All right, Dustin, let's see if we can pull this thing off. I mean, I got things everywhere if you see my screen. Of course, it opened up the wrong one. Are you kidding me? I tell you what, we'll wrap up with the video. Cameron, Kate, take it over. I'll find it.
Cameron, you want me to go?
I was trying to unmute. Yeah, go for it, Kate.
I'm driving, so hopefully you guys can hear me. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, you're good.
I mean, I'm not driving. My kid is. Everyone say hi to Jackson.
Hey, Jackson.
So yeah, Cameron and Dustin and I have had many conversations about this Nashville trip, and I kind of was like, I bet there's a lot of people that they're like, okay, it's an event, okay, we're gonna get together, but what are we gonna do? Like, what's gonna go on at this event? And I thought, why don't we just give them like a little sneak peek of the things that we're gonna go over? And like, one of the things that I'm most excited about, I have a lot of passion around, and Cameron and I got on a roll on the training. I cannot wait for you guys to do the training on this and the activities. But put a 2 in the chat if you have ever felt like you know exactly what you need to do, but something in you stops you, whether it's fear, whether it's procrastination, whether it's being a perfectionist and feeling like, well, I don't want to do it unless I can do it perfect. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like, I don't know if I belong here. I think I'm going to stand against the wall and maybe like blend. I don't want to raise my hand even though I have a question. Like, is this resonating with any of you? Have you ever felt any of this? One of the first things we're going to teach you at this masterclass is a hack, a literal hack. To me, it feels like pure magic. Like, it feels like sorcery, how well it works. It kind of creeps me out, but we're going to give you a hack to overcome that so you can do the things that you know you need to do. You can raise your hand when you know you need to. You can show up in a confident light. Even if you don't feel confident, we're going to give you a hack to show up confident. Does that make sense, everyone? So that's something you're going to learn. You're going to learn from a champ on our team who has built completely in person, hit rank 6 by doing in-person business. And you're going to learn, how do you have a conversation with, yeah, Carrie, I'm glad you love it because I'm talking about you right now. So heads up, you're going to learn from someone who builds in person. How does she start conversations with people? How does she have all these people joining her in the business when she is building in person? You're going to learn from her. You're going to learn from people who are building on social media, who are hitting MVP multiplier month after month after month. Which, like, for me this month, you guys, if you're not going for multiplier, you are leaving so much money on the table. Because with this new system, the new multiplier, you guys, my bonus this month was $1,750. That's huge. Do you know what kind of a life-changing amount of money that is for people? Like, there are people out there that when I first started, that amount of money was exactly what I was looking for to pull my house out of foreclosure. And I have done that the last several months, doubling down on social media. And so have other people on our team, and you're going to learn from those people. You're going to learn how to tell your story so that actually attracts customers to you, and not just customers, but team members, because we're going to stop telling just our ketone story, and we're going to start telling our prove it story. And we're going to teach you how to do that. We're going to break into small groups. This isn't going to just be a bunch of people standing in front of the room. Hopefully you guys can hear me because I'm getting ready to internet change here. Okay, thanks, Cameron. You're not going to just be hearing from speakers at the front of the room. You're going to be getting into small groups, working in teams, working with people that you don't normally work with. So you can hear how other people do things. You can hear how Lynn does things, how Norma is building a massive international business. And I can tell you that she doesn't think that she's amazing, which always cracks me up because I'm like, Norma, you are such a badass. But she doesn't see that. And I bet some of you don't see that in yourself either. And so you're going to, yes, Norma, I see you, sister. You're going to hear from that. So those are just a few of the things that you're going to learn and you're going to gain from this masterclass. Now we get it. If you can't get to Nashville, we understand. There's another event in Vegas the following weekend. If you can get to that, go to that. Like that playbook with Michael Rutherford, you're talking about not just myself and Cameron will be there and Michael Rutherford, but Nick Martinez, Stephanie Milkey, Mandy Mitchell. Like you're going to hear from top earners in our company and how they're building. So if you can get to one, plug in where you can. I'm just telling you, this is going to be a massive life-changing moment for many of you. Events, put a 5 in the chat if an event has ever shifted you personally or business. Put a 5 in the chat. Because I will tell you 1,000%, I would have never hit Pro Champ if I had not gone to an event. So that's what to expect. I'm going to throw it over to Cameron because we want to give you guys some step-by-step activities. She's going to give you an activity and go over maybe Dustin's going to share. He might be getting ready to share, but we're also on this call before we get off, before we get into the state of play. We're going to share with you some attraction marketing stuff, but I think Dustin's going to share that video now.
Dustin, we don't have sound.
I can never get sound to come on the videos when I share them on here. But while go ahead and play it. We can talk over it. Because I wanted to give you guys a little idea about the boutique venue that this is going to be at too. Let's see if it starts playing again.
That work now?
Yes.
Wow, I am basically not good at this. I'm getting better though. Wrong one. All right, y'all. Karen, kick it over. That was even wrong. I appreciate you.
Thanks. Hey, if y'all noticed, that said January, I think, and that's actually one that we had in the past, but you get it, Nashville vibes. I think for me, real quick, I'll just say one of the coolest things too about going to an event is, well, first of all, events aren't something that you attend once you've made it, right? Events are something that you attend that gets you into a different environment. and around a lot of really strong energy and proximity and community. And that's where the most breakthroughs happen. So we understand if it's like, oh, this is uncomfortable, this is a push. I get it. I had never like traveled by myself or anything. And my first event, I went to California. I still don't know how they got me to do it. They twisted my arm, but I'm so glad I went, because that's where I had like, that's where my brain opened, and it was like a whole new world that I had never experienced. And I was like, I want that. So that's what happens at events. They're super powerful. So like Kate said, get to Nashville. If you absolutely can't get to Nashville, get to Vegas. Let us help you figure it out, whatever it takes, because you don't want to wait until June. Like June's like ages away, and so much can happen like right now that can send you into that event in June with a whole team there with you. So make it happen, and let us help you. But yeah, we also wanted to talk today about attraction, and just, you know, I want to ask you guys, if you will, in the chat too, is when you think about attraction, right? It's the first step of ACE. We attract, we connect, and we enroll. We help people get started, right? But the attraction part, it is the first part for a big reason. And that's because that's where it all begins. Like, it's really hard to connect. It's really hard to enroll without the attraction. And I personally, I've been doing this for 7 years now, and I've very much had waves in my business of my attraction being up and my attraction being down, and my attraction being like insane, like a lot of people coming at me, and then me going, where am I getting people from? Do y'all know what I mean? Like, there's been waves. So I definitely know what it feels like at all the places. And I promise it feels best when the attraction flow is happening, because you get to show up and you get to your energy's good. It feels good. Like, energy's everything in this. You can come on and you can make the best content and you can do whatever. But if deep down you're coming from a place of desperation because you're trying to figure out where you're going to get people, like, unfortunately that transfers. And so you know, Kate and I have been talking over the last couple of days, just really in prep for Nashville, and talking about some different stuff that we're going to be training on, and you know, talking about attraction. And I know right now, Kate's business is in a huge attraction flow. And she's like, you know, it's just amazing. Like, I have all these people, and she's like got really good quality problems trying to figure out how to get back to all the people, right? Like, that's such a great quality problem to have. And so Kate, if you can, I would love to ping pong a little bit with you about that. We were talking specifically about using, you know, low carb and keto for attraction. And I was telling Kate, and I just want to preface this by saying that, like, take this, like, hear our hearts on this. Don't feel like we're saying like, you have to go do it this way or it's not going to work. We're specifically talking about attraction and helping you more with attraction. So I was telling Kate, I went up to one of the provers at one of the last few events. I don't even remember where we were at, but probably Louisville. And she was crushing it. And she had been on stage. Oh, it was epic. And she was like, I was like, okay, I'm going to ramp back up my social media, and I'm going to start doing Facebook Lives again, and And I'm like, what's your best tip? And she's like, well, do you eat keto? And I was like, no. And she's like, well, that's your first mistake. And I was like, oh, but what she meant was, like, don't worry, because I didn't start eating keto and I don't plan on it. But what she meant was, she builds her whole business and has the success that she has because she makes and shows keto foods. And it's not this big, like, lavish, crazy, you know, 4-course keto meal. She literally was making pizza quesadillas when I went and checked out her live. And I'm like, you know, so if we think about it, like, most of us, how many of us are doing like keto low carb? Like, you've changed your diet some since you've started drinking ketones. Most people, right? Okay, I figured so, because that tends to happen when we start drinking ketones. Are you showing the food that you're putting in your body? Whether you cook it, whether you get it from a restaurant, whether you eat a lot or you eat a little, you are here surviving and thriving because you're putting food in your body, right? Just simply showing that is huge. That's what so many people are looking for, right? And this is the way that people find recipes and ideas and snacks and all of these things, right? So if you're on social media in any aspect, right? A little bit, a lot, you want to do more, I would strongly consider getting into that niche. And I'll let Kate kind of say, Kate, what you said about just where these people are at that are finding you, and just how much of a game changer it is. versus just kind of like showing up, throwing random stuff, inspiration, this, that, and the other, and then figuring out how we're going to get that into the ketone conversation. So,
Yeah.
Kate?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So for those of you that don't know me, I've been low carb for a long time, but just heads up, I hate cooking. I don't like to cook. Like, my family thinks it's absolutely hilarious that I have over 600,000 followers on social media following me and wanting my cookbooks. My brothers literally lay on the floor and laugh because they won't eat anything I fix. They're like, you're a horrible cook. Okay. So don't come at me with but I don't really like to cook. I'm going to get on a rant with you guys right now. Like, you can come out, no, I don't really like to cook, or I don't really like to do this, or I don't really like to do that. Well, you know what I like to do? I like to pay for my daughter's college education. That's what I like to do. I like to pay off all my credit card debt. I like to be able to, if my dog needs surgery, to be able to just pay for my dog to have surgery and not feel like I have to go in debt over that. I like to be able to go visit my mom on a whim and fly up to her house and spend time with her without worrying about how that's going to financially hit me. So when people are like, well, I just don't really like this, or I don't really like doing that. Okay, this is a business. This is a business. So what you need to think about is when that leaderboard is posted, when Prove It posts those leaderboards, I would say at the very least, 90% of the people on that leaderboard are in the low carb or keto niche. Why? Because it is so easy to transition to a ketone conversations with someone who is already looking for low carb or keto. It's a path of least resistance. And let me tell you, when I'm coming at you, telling you guys this, I'm not trying, like, hear my heart. Like Cameron said, y'all need to hear our heart. This isn't the only way to build a business. There are many ways to build a business. But for us not to tell you what is working is, to me, keeping a secret sauce from you. And that is not how we play on this team. That's not how we play. So when I'm telling you that it's working, this is not me bragging. Okay. Last month, I had in new volume 55 QV in new volume. My personal volume was like 45,000. So I'm hitting rank 6 on my own personal volume. Okay. So maybe this works. Maybe this works, because what happens is it's not all my content, but it's how people get to know me. It's how I attract eyeballs to me. Okay. So I'm creating content, all kinds of different content, but at least 75% of my content has something to do with this lifestyle. It's not all cooking. Sometimes it's, here's my grocery haul. Here's what I got at Sam's Club today. Here's how I eat low carb when I'm on the road. Here's how you eat low carb at Five Guys. Like, it's not me cooking. So don't come at me with your, I don't really want to cook a meal every night that's low carb. Okay. You're making excuses. You're making excuses in your head to keep you from doing stuff when you come at me with those kind of excuses, because get creative, get resourceful. There are all kinds of things. Look, one of my biggest videos that blew up was literally a pickle wrapped in cream cheese and ham. And it blew up. Okay. Did you guys just hear my echo just I'm dead. That's hilarious. So that was super creepy. So what happens is when you're creating content that is around this low carb or keto space, the conversation can so easily flow into ketones. So if I have a follower, I'm going to reach out to that follower and I'm going to say, hey, thanks so much for following me. I love connecting with like-minded people. I'm assuming if you're following me that you are living this lifestyle. Are you low carb or are you keto? And that's what I say. And then however they answer, my next conversation is, oh, that is amazing. I'm so excited for you. I actually don't eat keto. It's very strict for me, but I love living in ketosis. So I utilize Keto Nat. Have you ever tried it before? Do you guys see how easy of a transition? So I am in tons of conversations. I'm also attracting people to me that want low carb recipes. They want all that. So I can easily transition them into our customer groups, into our groups that cultivate that relationship, build that community. Community. Did y'all hear that? I'm building a community. So that's kind of one of the things that Cameron's been like, okay, well, what do you do with this? How do you do that? Like, we've been really having a lot of conversations on this, because what we want to do, and by the way, this is not a one-off, okay? I didn't just get that volume last month, and I don't normally get that volume. That's not true. That is pretty much my consistent volume, month after month after month. Last month was high, but y'all, I've hit multiplier every month. Not since it started, but like, I don't even know how many months in a row. Samantha Rose would know, because we're like at the same, but like crazy. But it's because
how many months did it take you to hit multiplier the first time?
Oh, well, first of all, I never even tried to hit multiplier because I thought I wouldn't be able to. It took me, let's see, when they first launched it, I mean, I want to say like 5 or 6 months before I probably hit it the first time.
And then did you consistently hit it every time after that?
This takes time. I didn't start cooking low carb until COVID, the shutdown. You guys, it takes time. But what is amazing, why people trust me, why people shop with me, is because I'm consistent. There's the know, the like, the trust. They get to know me through a low carb niche. They get to like me because I show up on a live and I'm just me. In my stories, I'm just me. I post videos about my kids or my husband or my dogs. That's how they get to like me. But they trust me because I'm consistent. So it takes consistency. You're not going to just throw up 3 low carb recipes and all of a sudden your social media blows up. Be consistent with it.
Yes. I love that, Kate. That's so good. And that's so true. It does. It takes consistency. It takes showing up. And like she said, it's not about like, oh, this is what you have to do. It's just something that really, really takes off good. So just think about it. And another thing I was telling Kate, or I think maybe I was telling somebody else, but I was like, you know, I've been like, oh, I need to do more recipes, reels, and all this stuff. And then, you know, I'll not do it the day that I want to, or the next day. So I got to the point where I was like, you know what, whatever I'm cooking, I'm going to do it on that because it's still food and it's still, you know, and I'm cooking for kids, and it's been absolutely insane around here. We've actually eaten more fast food in the last probably 2 weeks than we have in years and years and years. So I made Mexican street corn the other night, and that's not like a low carb keto thing necessarily, but guess what? Out of all my videos that have like couple hundred or maybe 1,000 views, that one has like 100 and something thousand. So it's just what's trending right now. So if you can do it and you're eating it anyway, do it. And as far as multiplier goes, same thing. Like multiplier, it can be so easy when you have a flow. You'll find yourself hitting multiplier in the first half of the month when you have this flow. So take the time and energy, whether it's cooking or sharing food or whatever it is, to find that niche. The closer related it can be to low carb keto, the better, because your audience is going to be, I don't know if primed is the right word, but like ready, looking hot, right? Like if they're coming in for anything like that. Now, if there's another niche, like Dustin for years told me, do hair videos, because he knew I was in the hair and makeup space. He's like, you got to do that. You got to do that. And when I finally did, listen, people are either usually following me for one of my recipes, and I've done very few recipes, or hair videos. So it's great to have two, because then the people you aren't capturing here, you may capture here. So if, you know, think of something else you can do. I always think of like, Are you in real estate? Give real estate tips. Are you in, like, what do you do? Are you a teacher? Give tips around that you can give to parents about, something that you do with your students. Like, have other niches, but understand the importance of niches, and understand that when you lay these niches out, again, the one that you have that's low carb or keto is really going to be, I know puppies are my niche right now. Apparently I need to do more on that. But it really makes it easier to get into that conversation and go, oh, are you eating low carb or keto? And then boom, you're there. So I love that, Kate. Another thing, and I'm going to go through this one kind of fast. I want you guys to grab a pen and paper, because we want to give y'all a few minutes to do whatever you need to do before state of play. We want you to get on that one too. That's next. So we did a really cool exercise on the champ call the other night. I want to share that exercise with you, and I want to make sure that everybody takes the few minutes to do it because it's super important. It was a really great tip. So first of all, do I have y'all's commitment to do the exercise? You don't even know what it is, and you're like, yes, I love it. Okay, cool. So here's what we're going to do is we're going to take and make your little box or whatever. So you have a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle. And you can even do half, like you can make your paper like this, do this. No, is that right? Yeah, you could do this. Like have your paper in half. The top part's going to be product. The bottom part's going to be business. Okay. In one column, you're going to list pain points that you experienced prior to starting ketones, adding ketones into your life. You're probably already thinking of them. Tired, no energy, grumpy, didn't sleep, uncomfortable, clothes didn't fit, gaining weight all the time, health was wacky, whatever it is, okay? Pain points from before ketones. On the other side of it, you're going to put, and just list a few, just list a handful, 3 to 5 or whatever. On the other side, you're going to put benefits that you've gotten, that you're getting from ketones. What do you love about it? What are they doing for you? Right? This is about the product. And you can add to this after. Thank you, Miguel. So you can add to this after too. You don't have to do it all right now. I know some people are driving and working out. And then on the bottom part for the business, same thing. What were some pain points that you had prior to joining this community? Maybe you felt lonely. Maybe you felt disconnected. Maybe you felt uninspired. Maybe you felt like you were in a rut. Maybe you felt like your mindset was bad. Maybe you felt like financially you had more struggles. Maybe you felt overworked and underpaid. What are some pain points that you had prior to joining and starting your business? And then what are the benefits? Like, what have you gained since joining this? And it's like I told somebody yesterday, she started that whole, I don't feel like I can talk about the business because what'd she say? I haven't had a lot of success. I'm like, excuse me? What do you mean? Like, clearly you're only talking about financially and you had a number in your head that you haven't met yet because holy moly, you're a different person. And she's like, oh my gosh. I know. So then we like redirected and started talking about all the amazing things, right? Does anybody's head go there? I haven't made a lot of money yet, so I don't know how to talk about it. Forget about it. People that are if you line up people in our community that are making a ton of money, a little bit of money, and very little bit of money, or a ton of money, average money, a little bit of money, I guarantee you everybody's going to talk about so many of the other things more that they've gained than the money. So our mind tells us that success equals dollars, but the truth is there's so many other things we get from this business. So write those down in that column. These are the things that you're going to talk about and share about in your post, on your stories, right? That's the only way that you're going to be able to really connect with people. It's really super great to throw an inspiring quote out there with an awesome hashtag. It really is. And sometimes they do great, but it doesn't necessarily move people the same. Or you can't count on just that. Like, people need to know why you read that and felt it enough to go post it. If I post a quote or something, it's because when I read it, I went, ooh, like, you know what I mean? Like I screenshotted it from Instagram or wherever, because I was like, ooh, that's good. But how much more powerful would it be if I shared that image, maybe that I pulled it from, and then shared a story with it, right? So remember to embed those pain points and struggles that you had, and then also the victories that have come from it now through this. And invite people, talk about it more, because that's what Stephanie Milky shared. She's like, I realized that I was not sharing nearly enough about, that I even do this, that this is a business and why I do it. And people don't know. We just assume people know. They really do not know. So that's what I've got as far as that exercise. Are y'all in for doing that and using that as a little reference sheet? Okay, perfect. And does anyone have any questions before we wrap this up about the attraction part of it, or this little list we just made? If you do, feel free to ask. No question's a bad question. Okay. All right. Sweet. Well, that's what we've got for you today. I hope that helps. Take the time, take the intention, and take the energy to focus on what your attraction piece is going to be and what's going to work for you. Look at what you've done. Look at what's worked. Look at what you've been consistent with, right? Success leaves clues unless you're clueless. Sometimes we get focused on what we want to do, and then we got to have it come to Jesus and go, wait a minute, what actually works for me, right? What do people want to see from me? I have that come to Jesus every day with myself, by the way. So Dustin, I'll shoot it back over to you to close this out, sir. Thank you guys all for your time. Thank you, Kate, for all your good stuff. And back to you, Dustin.
All right, y'all, give some love to Kate and Cameron. We're super excited about Nashville. It's going to be an epic event, and it's just, there's an exciting time happening. I wish I could express more of what's going on in the next 2-3 years, but ketones are only going to get bigger. The ketogenic diet, like they said, is getting harder for people. That's why low carb is a great way to approach things if you can't do keto, and talk about it. So take these tips forward. But hey, the state of play is coming up, and we're changing our flow a little bit. So we're going to start talking. What we realize is a lot of new people don't know our whole story. So we're going to start changing up what we're doing. So definitely plug into State of Play, invite your team. If they don't get to watch it live, have them watch the replay. It'll be really valuable for them. And then lastly, tonight we do have a guest call tonight. I would highly, highly, highly use these calls, because your new promoter, if they invite to this call, it saves time, energy, and effort. And I hear they're going to have a really good expert on tonight. So you might want to plug in for that one. So with that said and done, y'all have an amazing day. We'll see you all in Nashville. Look at your pulse. I'll be sending the link out again. Definitely get your tickets, because it's going to book up really, really well. It's almost already booked up. So we only have a few spots left. Cheers, y'all.